Hi guys, hope you're all having an amazing week. This video is going to be part of my Luke Loves Christmas series. Make sure to go check out all the other videos, I'll link a few below. This video is going to be tips for the visually impaired or blind during Christmas when they're out and about, walking, things like that. So yeah, I'm going to dive straight in. The first tip I have is pretty obvious. It's make sure that you're wrapped up warm because, December is winter and it's going to be absolutely freezing. If it isn't where you are, please let me know because I'd love to come because, God, I hate the cold. But there you go. So yeah, make sure you've got a good, decent, big coat or jacket on, to keep yourself nice, wrapped up and warm. The second tip I have is, if you're blind or visually impaired, there's a probably big majority out there that are either cane users or have a guide dog. Now, the one thing that I recommend is some decent gloves. Go the extra mile. Don't buy the cheaper end to them. Make sure that you spend, don't spend the earth on them, but make sure that they're a decent pair and that they're going to last you. I did go a bit OTT on mine, but they're the most amazing, comfiest, warmest gloves you will ever find. I'll link where I bought them below, and they're a bit on the pricier side. I think they're about £25. Not 100% sure because I got a gift thing for them, but there you go. And they're fleece-lined touch, so that you can use your smartphone. Not that I use my smartphone with it because, trust me, I'm clumsy at the best of times. So even, because they are leather effect-ish. I'm not 100% sure if they are leather, but there you go. So, iPhone, me, sliding stuff, not a good mix. The next is, well, hang on, that was tip 2. Tip number 3 is shoes. Decent pair of shoes. I would advise a decent sole, for instance, a wooden sole, or, do you know what I mean? Don't go for a trainer, go for a boot, because obviously they're going to keep your feet warmer, they're going to keep you warmer, they're a lot easier to walk in if there's snow, rather than trainers, because 9 times out of 10, trainers can let in a little bit of, obviously, snow, whereas if you wrap the boots up nice and tight, they shouldn't really let in snow. As well as with the wooden or hardened sole, they're a lot easier to, stomp about in. Now, obviously, the women out there, you're not really going to be wanting to walk around in boots that are, that big. But there is a slight thing that I'd say, is that if you want, instead of using a boot, make sure that you use a decent, well, obviously still a boot, but not a boot. Rather than a heel, go for a wedge. Don't ask me how I know that, I just do. Because obviously the wedge is going to give your foot a lot more support and it's going to be a lot easier to walk in the snow. Because obviously a lot of women prefer, to be higher up than everyone else. That made no sense, I'm rambling, but there you go. The next one, which is a good tip, is, now if you have a cane, now it took me about 2 weeks to figure this out because I got my cane, oh God, yeah, my cane, I've had my cane a year now. Yeah, I've only just realised that. How well. Because I got my cane in the last week of November, it was, getting colder and icier. Now, obviously, if you're swiping your cane and there's no snow on the ground, the ice is a lot easier to detect. Now, snow, you can't really swipe your cane left to right or right to left, or however you do it. So there's a little tip. In your mind, plan out where you're going to walk. Now, what I'd do is, I'd get your cane and I'd stab the ground. So stab the snow, and then move your foot to where you've just stabbed. Does that make some sort of sense? So stab, move foot, stab, move other foot, stab. Do you know what I mean? And then that way, because obviously the cane's to detect whether or not there's anything in your way. And obviously with there being snow, you can't really tell that because you can't swipe it left to right, and you obviously can't see it because it's snow. So what I'd suggest is, as I've just said, sorry, I keep getting tongue-tied, stab the snow with your cane, so that basically if there is anything under there, stabbing the snow with a cane is going to at least give you some sort of idea. And plus, what you can do is then move your foot to below where you've just stabbed with the cane, because, you're going to walk there. I'm rambling again. But yeah, hopefully that's a good tip. Guide dogs, not 100% sure what you can really do with guide dogs, because I don't have a guide dog myself, so I'm not really, what's the word I'm looking for, qualified to give any advice on having a guide dog. But if you have a guide dog and you have any winter tips, please let me know. As I've said, yeah, wrap up warm, decent shoes, decent gloves, and the cane little tip that I've given you. So yeah, they're just a few little tips that you can use to get around in the snow or in the colder winter weather. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you remember to subscribe, like, share, come check me out on all the social media sites, I'll link them all below, and hope you have a Merry Christmas.